Welcome back, everybody. So now I will be going on to the second season of Vita Carnis. I am glad Darian is still working on the series, and of course, once it finishes, I'll be doing a retrospective on season 2 as well. So now, let's get into it. We start off with us hearing about a raid on the cult being successful. So again, I have to say, yeah, bitch! And we get a name of a specific cult member who seems to be the highest ranking member of the cult, named Simon Vanguard, who was a military leader. Then we get some quick cuts of what's happening around the world, like the members being charged for giving false information to the public, Nutrico being shut down and its products being blacklisted, people wanting crawl farms to be shut down, which is reasonable for them to be closed with all the tension going around. Mimics are still growing in population, causing even more problems. And finally, there are riots going on, probably to get anything related to the Vita Carnis destroyed or shut down, with the last clip showing the cult symbol over the globe, saying that they were a secret world order. We then cut to a researcher for Carcass, Dr. Marshall Tredos, who starts giving us a briefing on the Singularities. He tells us stuff we already know and tells us about the first test they are starting to do. The first test they do is just letting a cow into the chambers with it, and all that happened was the cow got stressed. I'm guessing this was because it just didn't know what it was, or the Singularities radio waves might have been doing something to the cow's brain. They then do the same thing, but with a dead cow, and the cow's corpse dissolves into crawl, showing that the Singularities might be the progenitor of the species for all of the Vita Carnis. Next is Dr. Rhodes Suarez, testing out on the crawl. Group 1 just grew normally. Group 2 used the extra food around it to excel its rate of growth, but Group 3 went for the radio instead of growing normally. I'm guessing since the Singularity gives off radio waves, the Vita Carnis species is just naturally attracted to it. And she does say that they were starting to produce the other forms faster than natural-born crawl, most likely because they are in close proximity to the Singularities still. The next scientist is Dr. Fawn Panitro, doing tests on the trimmings. They are testing if they can train them to react in certain ways by doing positive and negative cues, which seems to work. And I know it's bad, but its first reaction to getting sprayed with water made me burst out laughing.
Oh, nigga! My ears burn!
They then released it back with the others, and somehow the others recognized the audio cues. But then they used the same audio cues on a group of trimmings that were nesting next to the building, and they did the same thing. I will get more into this in the discussion section. I haven't talked about it yet, but we have been getting cuts of a kids program talking about the life cycle of beetles, and I am not sure how this connects to something, but it will probably connect to something in the future. And we get a secret unlisted video where we get a message from a person called B talking about how they are going to take someone up on an offer and that things are changing here. And then that they will send them over when they get a chance. Alright, now let's get on to the discussion. I said all I needed to about the crawl, but the trimmings are getting more interesting. I think they may be able to communicate by some kind of hive mind or radio wave that they themselves produce. That is the only explanation I can think of how they communicate with the trimmings outside the building. Now the scientists should start to see how far this radius of the communication they have is, and if they can do it with other forms of the Vita Carnis as well. Like telling meat snakes that there are dead organisms where they came from, or telling a mimic that there are humans camping out in the woods over there. Of course, the major subject of the video are the Singularities, and that they can produce crawl out of dead flesh. This would mean that as they roam around the world, if they pass by a dead animal, it would just start producing crawl, making the species even more widespread. And of course, this also tells us that the Singularities are above the crawl in the hierarchy of production. And the last thing to talk about would be the secret message. This message takes place 3 years after the final date that was in this video, so there is a large amount of time in between. I have 2 ideas what it could be talking about. The first is that a cult member has infiltrated Carcass Labs and is working with someone to get the Singularities out. Or the second and worse option is that the scientists, since they are in close proximity to the Singularities, have started worshipping them, like the cultists, and someone is trying to get the Singularities to a safer location. Alright, that's all I can say about this episode, and I will make sure to get 1 or 2 more episodes out sometime this month. Make sure to go check out my Vita Carnis playlist for all of my videos on the series. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to keep up to date with all my stuff. With all that done, I will see you guys later. Bye guys.